Hey guys, it's Kyle. It's Saturday at noon, and I'm in my backyard, and I'm feeling a little bit better. I wanted to show y'all because I didn't notice it. I noticed it yesterday, but I didn't know like if I had scratched there or something. I want to show y'all. They actually made a mark on my face 2 days ago. That's not me scratching there. That's not me doing, because it just feels like the skin didn't even come off. There was no piece of skin to come off. It's a cauterized kind of hole there. So when they were hitting me in the face and the cheek and the jaw right here, putting stuff here, they actually did make a hole. So I don't know what kind of thing they have to make a hole, but that's some evidence right there. If you can see it, that's actually from something they're using. I don't think they meant to do it, but it did actually make a hole. But I just wanted to show y'all that, tell y'all I'm doing kind of okay. I kind of switched my plates around to cover both sides. It seems like when I would focus on or when I'd get away from one side, I'd get a lot of ELF, a lot of stuff that was hurt my muscles and stuff. And then if I'd try and move stuff over to that side where I was getting hurt, I'd get more of the high pitched sound. So it's like they've got something on both sides. So if I go to one side, so I have to cover both sides basically. And it's like war. It was weird because I got a tabletop fender recently, and it's totally defensive. It's completely defensive. If you put it in the middle of a room, with a bunch of kids, they would only get less cancer. They'd get a less risk of getting cancer, less risk of having cell phone signals and Wi-Fi signals hurt them or do anything to them. And the weapons this guy has, they're totally deadly. Having them in a house with kids and a wife and kids is crazy. They could get cancer from them. And I was just yeah, the big terrorist is getting his, tabletop defender out. That's completely defense, just defense, just benign defense, lining his wall. And this guy is saying I need to get out of this neighborhood and stuff. And he's got, death weapons that burn holes in people's faces and give people cancer. And I just find that very ironic. How I could be twisted into being dangerous while he's this guy's got to get out of here, and he's this complete murderer. But I guess all targeted individuals kind of think that's really weird. But I'm doing better this morning. I just wanted to show you all that. Because that's definitely, I didn't scratch it. I didn't do anything to my face. It's not a zit. I'm questioning what it is, but I want to get a video of it, because that's exactly, they hit me here, and this is the bottom of my cheek right here where it runs in my jaw, and that's where they hit a lot. They hit this cheek and right here, and I think they actually because at night they just put it on there. They just beam it on there, the ELF, and they just leave it there. So I could see how it could make a hole while I'm still. It was when I was still, when I was prone, sleeping, and I slept for from about midnight to 1 o'clock the next day. So it's a very suspicious hole in my face from that time. I want to show you all that and try and kind of just get it down, get some video evidence down real close to it. Because it's not I didn't peel that part of my skin off. There was no zit there. There was no itch where I scratched it. And that happened. It just happened. And that it looks like a hole, and it's cauterized. It's not itching or anything like that. It's just it's hard. It doesn't really feel like anything. And that's just where they were hitting that whole night. So, but alright, I just wanted to make a video about that, just to document that. I'm going to keep moving. I got a new plate today in the mail, and so I'm hoping that they take about 3 weeks to get to full force, because what they're doing is it's this plate. It's a plate about, I don't know, I can't show you on the phone, but it's using basically gold plated, some kind of gold plated metal, and I'll get more information, but it pushes out scalar waves and pushes out solfeggio waves and other kind of waves that neutralize this stuff, and it'll push it out into a field. So it'll push it out into a big field, but it takes about 3 weeks to establish that field. It's just like the Altera plug. Well, they work different ways, but the Altera plugs take about 3 weeks to work, because any of these scalar waves or any kind of I guess solfeggio waves you'd call them. I want to find out about more of the waves that buffer any kind of electromagnetic frequency, the ones on the opposite side of the spectrum. But they take a while, and just like their weapons take a while to build. Like, I mean, they'll have to get their EHF, and it doesn't right away make the highest pitch sound. They have to build that up, and those are basically microwaves. It's a microwave frequency, so it has to have a chance to build up. And I don't think that's mostly in a field, although they can create fields around your head, so I guess that field would have to have time to build up. But it's all kind of, these frequencies have to build up, so it's this war where I can't move a plate and right away get the effect I want. I have to wait for it to create a buffer and a barrier field. Basically right now, like around this house, I've got so many tabletop defenders, I've got a field because they're 100 feet in both directions. My house is only, I'd say my house is like 30 feet, maybe 40 feet across, and then the houses around me 30 feet, so we've got about 40 feet and 70, it's about 100 feet, I would say, well, probably over 100 feet, probably like 120 feet, my house and the two houses right next to me. So it's a good little area, to just create a field in, where anything that's coming in remotely or from the side is going to be buffered. But they have such powerful stuff like on the ground that it's like you'd have to get it right by it, which I don't understand. I don't understand yet how I can't put it right by me, and if I put it right by me, it doesn't work as good as if I put it close up to where he's shooting it from. I guess because it's so powerful, but I don't understand, because it should remotely come down on me, or I don't see why at the end of the travel of the electromagnetic energy, it's harder to buffer than at the source, what it's coming out of. That's kind of my theory on it, and I'm confused about that. I have to do a little bit more research on that, or a lot more research, just a lot more, moving the tabletop defenders around. They have car adapters for them, and maybe putting one in the car to see how it works with the remote stuff that they're shooting at me. That's what I really want to try. Pulling it off the wall, putting it in my car, driving around, seeing how it affects, if it's like knocks it totally out, the remote stuff from outside of my house. I do know they work. I mean, to what degree? To the degree that we need? No, probably not. But I mean, I've told y'all the story. I hate sounding like a commercial for Q-Wave, for Altera, or anything like that. Like, I just talk about what works, and like I don't want to like try and be like a sales commercial for these companies, but like this stuff does work on a scale. Like when I was in temporary confinement or whatever, where I couldn't get out, they took all my personal defenders. They took they just took everything off of me, and so I was very vulnerable in that situation. And my parents came in without me even knowing, that they didn't tell me anything, and they just shut off all my electricity in my rooms. They unplugged all the tabletop defenders. I had like 5 at that time, right across from this guy's remote weaponry and his ground weaponry, directed energy weapons. And at the place across town, I didn't know that my parents had done this. I started to feel a lot more pain from what they were shooting at me. In my prostate, like I felt it go deep down in my prostate, and like I had to hunch over, and like I went into shock. I got cold, and when they'd hit me in the chest, and I could barely. And this was like real. This was a lot earlier on than it was, like maybe a year and a half ago. So he hadn't built up as much as he has now. So like if I remove those plates now, he could stop my heart. I'm pretty sure. But like I knew it. Like I told my mom, like we met because it was like a temporary. They temporary hold you for when I called the inspector general. Then he called the coroner, who was the next FBI agent. They tricked me. They told me to come into the emergency room. They give me medical help, and then they threw me into the temporary psychiatric hold. It's called St. Clair. But like my mom came in to visit me, and I said, Mom, turn those tabletop defenders back on. She was like, we just turned them off because we want to save electricity, but I'll turn them back on. And I was like, how do you think I knew that, Mom? Like, I was like, how do you think I knew that? Like, I didn't even have to ask you. I just knew that. She was like, well, I told you that. I told you that. I told you and I was like, nope, you never told me that. Never in a conversation did she tell me that. Like, I knew it because of how bad I was being hit. But she had to, kind of justify it in her mind that she had told me that, because I was in a temporary holding, and she kind of wanted to keep me in there because she was worried about me. So she had to really, really justify it. But now I completely knew without them even saying anything about it. So that's how I know. Like, that's the stuff that's happened that's proven that this stuff works. Like, one day I had to leave 2 personal defenders. I wear 4 personal defenders on me. I had to leave 2 at home because they had lost their charge, and so at work I could hear the V2K a lot more. I could hear, I could feel the ELF. They were able to hit me in the chest, and it hurt. And then I got back, put them on, and it was a lot less. So these things, I proved because of things like that. I've experimented with them, and I know that they work. I know from a fact, because you get hurt. I get hurt without them. With them, it buffers it, gives me peace. Some people say they don't work for them, but it does. They take a long time, so you got to be real patient. You got to if you put a personal defender on, you got to wait 3 weeks. You got to wait. I mean, at least 2 weeks to see anything, but you got to wait 3 weeks to see if it's going to work or not work. And that's the bad thing about the technologies that we use, because theirs are faster. They shoot a beam at you, or directed energy, wave at you, and it takes a lot shorter of a period to build up. Or if they point an EHF emitter at you, it has to build, it has to crank, kind of, but it doesn't take as long. Also, I wanted to say that the conference calls are really good because one of the ladies on there was talking about Reflectix. Reflectix is something you can buy that's kind of like it's like aluminum polyester on both sides, and then like an insulator in the middle. And I had a bunch of rolls of them because I was going to try it out when I first started kind of defending and shielding. And I was using so much stuff, and I felt like it wasn't working. But she, in her testimony, she was like, she was like, this really works for me. I'll feel burns in my back. I'll feel my muscles hurting in my back from where they're shooting me with ELF, and I'll put that on my back, and it really helps. And so I was like, I kind of thought back, and I was like, well, maybe I had so much stuff going up that maybe I discounted these. And so I put them around where I sleep, because they're getting through a little bit while I sleep. And I slept really good last night. I slept really good. I woke up, I wasn't sore at all. My face wasn't sore. And I'd put 2 things of Reflectix around. Now I also have aluminum above, corrugated steel on the side, and aluminum on the side. But that wasn't even enough. But then I put some Reflectix to catch, what I wasn't catching, what was slipping through, and it pretty much caught everything. I mean, I slept really good last night. Woke up feeling great, bubbly and bouncy. So those conference calls are really good. Getting with other target individuals and listening to what they use that works, because there's a lot of people who they'll just get one thing and they'll be like, they'll use this one thing, and so we need to tell each other what works. What my problem is, I feel really bad. My dog is rolling, probably in some kind of dead animal or poo-poo. You enjoying that, boo-boo? You enjoying that? You are, huh? She's so cute. But it really just struck me, because it's like you hear somebody else using something, hit you with what you've been using, and you can pass the ideas around, and it really helps. In my situation, I've spent, and I'll let y'all know, I've spent like about, with all of my gadgets, with all the Q-Wave stuff and everything, if I added it up, it'd probably, in the plugs, the tabletop defenders, and the personal defenders, not going into all the aluminum and paint and corrugated steel, not going into those physical things, but the actual devices, I would add it up to about, 5,000 plus 300 times 5, that's 50. That's 6,500 plus 50 so probably about $8,000, $7,500 to $8,000 that I've spent on technology to buffer it, which has really worked. It's really worked, and it's helped me to get a job, to keep a job and stuff like that. And from time to time, they will overpower me. He's invited these new people in with new weapons. But it really worth it, because you think about it. Think about going to the emergency room. You're paying thousands of dollars. Think about not having a job. You lose out on thousands and thousands of dollars each month. Think about like your health deteriorating so bad that you get cancer or something like that. That's thousands and thousands. So the way that I think about it is, I'm able to hold a job. I have spent thousands of dollars, but it's like my trip to the temporary holding facility was $23,000. I don't think I'm gonna pay that, because it was involuntary. So I'll fight them on that. And I didn't belong there, because I wasn't crazy. And I'm still not crazy. But that's how I justify it. So if you, I know that people are like, well, it's just too expensive and stuff like that, but it's like our lives. So that's how I justify it in my mind, that it's like, this isn't a waste. Like, I'll never feel like that money was that I spent on this Q-Wave stuff and the Altera plugs, personal defenders, was a waste, because I'm learning about like what works on this stuff, and on a bigger scale of learning what works for targeted individuals and what can keep us safe. $8,000. It's like I'll shell that out in a second. And the fact I've had to build it, I've had to borrow it, I've had to. Did I say build it? I've had to build it. I've had to scrape for it at jobs. I've had to use money that I had from other jobs that before I started getting attacked. I've had to, borrow money from my parents to do it. I've had to do, it's not like I went out into the park and sold my body or anything like that, but I've had to scrape for it. But I wouldn't, I don't regret any of it. I think there are cheaper ways, but I'm just trying to tell y'all the justification in my mind of why I would spend money on stuff like that. And I'll guarantee that it works. It doesn't work like exactly how we want it to. It doesn't totally, just make it disappear. But it does work, it works enough to help your life, to help you be able to be comfortable and to live like a semi-normal life. But more on that, later. I just wanted to say, it's really good to talk to other people who are going through this, because you get really good ideas. I had rolled that Reflectix up and kind of put it in the front, not even really using it. And that lady was like, "This is what I use." I put it actually in my pants legs, and because they hurt my legs and my hips, and it really keeps it off. And I had corrugated steel, aluminum, and that. And so, I've gone back to it, and it really did. It put a stopped up those holes they were getting through, however they were getting through that steel on both sides. Gave me a good night's sleep last night, so I thank her. I forget her name, and I wouldn't say it even if I'd learned it in the conference call, because she's not like out on videos or anything like that. But great, just great advice. I hope she sees this video, and I want to say thank you for that, because I went back to it and it really did help. You know, a lot of this, I'm gonna really learn. I'm gonna try and talk to customer service at Q-Wave and learn exactly what comes out of those plates, like exactly what kind of waves come out of them, exactly what kind of waves come out of the whole house plugs, just every type. I know scalar waves and solfeggio waves, and I know it creates kind of a field of those. And so, like, I mean, you can look at my house, and on that side of the house, that's where I put all the plates, because this is my main threat. My main threat is this guy in the house, and he has a lot of remote technology and ground weapons. But what you can basically imagine these plates all along this wall, and they're creating a field that goes behind them over this way 100 feet, and over this way 100 feet, and over this way 100 feet, in every direction 100 feet. So there's like a little bubble coming out from the side of that house that goes back. But as you get further away from the point of origin of the little bubble, the field, you know, it's going to get weaker. Plus, I have, like, I put the plates against the wall, then I put a piece of corrugated steel basically right up behind them, so the field's going out, and it's being buffered a little bit by that corrugated steel coming back this way. What I've tried to do in this back room is, instead of putting the corrugated steel right up against the wall, I put the corrugated steel right up against that wall over there, so that it'll have more effect, like it won't affect any of the plates. But so I'm doing okay, and you know, just kind of trying to stay steady in a neighborhood of poison and murder and rape every night. I didn't get raped last night because of the Reflectix. Alright, guys, just wanted to put this out, just to kind of let y'all, and just check it out, just see for yourself. Didn't do anything there. Alright, God bless y'all, and I will see y'all on the next one. Plenty more to come. It's Saturday, Easter weekend, and I'm kind of just hanging out, seeing what's going to happen today. But I will see you guys on the next one. Stay safe.